Hello ghouls, welcome back to the Yarn Dungeon. I hope you're having a fantastic day today. I'm in a particularly good mood because this project that I'm gonna chit chat about is coming together really nicely. Now, this is a project that I thought I was gonna be finished with, but I think it's actually gonna be like a revolving type of pattern, not pattern, a project. There we go. Maybe pattern though. I don't know. I did write up all three of these, so there's a potential for it to be a pattern. But anyways, let me backtrack a little bit. A couple of weeks ago, I took on the challenge with Hobbii, and this was Hobbii on holiday. The entire challenge was to think of a memory, a time, a place that I went on holiday, and something that just sparks joy. For me, that was through and through coffee shops. That is my absolute favorite thing to do. No matter where I go on holiday, I have to find the local coffee shop. I have to try the specials. I have to get the little punch card because, you know, maybe I'll go back. I always get the punch card. Sometimes though, when I'm there for like a week or so, it does pay off because I will get like a free one. More often than not though, it just goes into my scrapbook and right next to some of the pictures that I took. So no matter what, I always get good use out of it, but not always a free coffee. Those are good days. So pulling inspiration from this idea, I was to take that and make it into a crochet pattern of some sort. There was really no limitations. It could be an accessory, a home decor, wearable, plushie, no limit. Which I love challenges like this because creativity can spark and hit in so many different directions that putting it into one box sometimes is super limiting. Other times it is helpful. It really is because I can get going too many different directions. This one, however, immediately when I read about it, I was like, I know what I want to do. I know how I want to attack this challenge. So I'm very thankful that it was open-ended. I unboxed the yarn that I was going to use, which is the Honey Bunny yarn, and it is a total mess right now. This has come with me everywhere. It's not just been in the Yarn Dungeon, it's been thrown into totes. I've taken it outside, crocheted, I've gone to many coffee shops and crocheted with it. Everything considered, it is looking pretty good. This uses a 6mm crochet hook, but for the stuffy version, I bumped it down to a 5mm. I find that I've really been liking that too. So it's not so tight that it hurts my fingers when I make these plushies, but the stitches are tight enough that you're not going to see the stuffing through. So this is the first one that I made. You already saw this one, and I still don't have a name for it though. I feel like it's a mocha of some sort because it's in the little cup. We have a ton of frosting on the top and there's a straw. Okay, maybe it's a frappuccino. Back up a little bit. What I decided to create was an entire flight of coffee, but in crochet plushie form. This is something that every time I go to a local coffee shop, I look on their specialty board, and if they have a flight of coffee, I will always get it. No matter what is on there, especially if it's a local coffee shop, a lot of times they're specialty recipes or they're trying something new or it's seasonal, so I'm always drawn to that. And it really is a nostalgia thing for me because it reminds me of going on holiday and going to these local coffee shops, which was the entire idea behind the project in the first place. So now we need a little update on the project. I have added 2 more coffee cups to this flight. First one, tiny little espresso cup. It is a Gibraltar, which is a piping hot 2 shots of espresso with a splash of milk of some sort, but for me, I normally do either coconut or almond milk. Almond is my favorite, but if they have coconut, I will definitely take that too. This was something that was introduced to me by a barista after I went on a hike that I didn't really want to. I was just really tired and wanted to relax for the day, but everybody else on this particular moment in time was like, let's go, let's do something, let's get up super early and have an adventure. So I'm not gonna say no to an adventure, but I was very tired. After the hike, as you can imagine, I was even more tired. So I was like, okay, I went on the hike, it was fun, it was great. Yes, memories are made. Can we please stop at a coffee shop? Like, I need a little caffeine in my system. Walked through the door and the barista was like, you look rough. And I was like, you're not wrong, but kind of rude. But can you make me something that is gonna be quick and easy, like right now, immediately get me some caffeine? And they're like, I got you. So they brought the Gibraltar out. It was fantastic. I shot it back and continued on with my day because nobody else in this group wanted coffee. That's why I was like, I need something very, very quick, because if I had it my way, I would have sat in this place and had coffee all day. Like, that would have been my ideal day, but it was not in the cards for me. So I'm very, very glad that this was given to me when it was. If I remember correctly, I think I had 2 of these. I was ready to go. The day went so much better than it would have had I not stopped at this local coffee shop. You might be thinking it's a little weird that I didn't even make a handle for it, but this is how it was brought out to me. It was a ceramic shot glass, and they were like, here you go, move. That's how I remember it, and that's how I'm gonna make these. This will not be the last one either. I feel like I need to set these around everywhere, especially in my kitchen. I'm gonna be making more of these. The last one that I made is an ode to the latte. This is something that I get every single time, no matter what. An almond milk latte, 2 shots of espresso, sometimes 3, maybe 4 if I'm really feeling it. Like if I'm getting nothing else, 4 shots is great. Froth up some almond milk, throw it in there, and put it in a to-go cup. Like if there's specialty stuff, I'll grab that, sit, hang out. But I'll always get this one in a to-go cup to continue sipping on my little bit of caffeine as I explore the rest of the day. Or, you know, if I'm gonna be hiking or biking or something like that, I wanna make sure I have it in my cup that I can bring with me, because I'm not gonna leave half of my latte behind. Like, that's just not an option. I might experiment with making a lid for this too. I made about 4 or 5 different variations of a lid, and I just wasn't liking how it was sitting. Now, I totally could have done something that was a permanent part of this, but I like things that come apart. So like how this straw comes out, there's no reason for that other than it brings me happiness. This is totally just because I want it to. After the 4th time of making the lid and it wasn't laying how I wanted it to, or like kind of popped off in a weird way, I closed everything up for the night and I was like, okay, I need to set this project aside, go back to the drawing board and kind of reassess how I want this lid to be. So that's what I mean. This is going to be an entire summer project for me. I also wanted to make a tray for it to go on. However, this stuff is really, really good for plushies. However, it's not something that I would use to make a platter to be able to set all 3 of these on, which is what I had in mind. I'm wanting to make a coffin platter to set all 3 of these on, to reminisce the flight of coffee all together, brought out and sat at the table. The yarn that I want to use for this is Hobbie's ribbon yarn, which happens to be on sale right this second, so it was kind of just meant to be. I have used Hobbii ribbon yarn so many different times to make project baskets. It's kind of like my go-to thing with that, so I thought that I had some yarn just laying around, but apparently not. Like, I just loved it and I used it all up. Sometimes I make totes with it too. I'm thinking I might have done that because I have recently gifted away a couple of totes since it is nice and warm outside. It's just a really good structure yarn. The ribbon yarn I've made so many different project baskets with. Now, for this particular stitch, I did want there to be space in between the stitches. For the platter, I am gonna do a totally different stitch. I'm thinking maybe the waistcoat stitch. That way every stitch is almost on top of each other. There isn't gonna be any sort of space between it, just to add a little bit more structure to it. But these project baskets that I made, fantastic. They're everywhere in the Yarn Dungeon, and it just has this bottom with the perforated edges so I can crochet right into it. Honestly, I am super impressed that this is empty. Normally there are like 2 or 3 projects in this, so I might use this one to keep going on this project. I'm also working on a scone pattern. I know that's not something that normally goes with a flight of coffee, but it goes with coffee in general, right? Lemon lavender scones are my favorite thing to have in the summertime with coffee. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. Morning, dessert, in the evening, does not matter. Lemon lavender scone, I will never say no to those. And this is another pattern that I've been playing around with, and it hasn't really laid exactly the way that I want it to, but I'm still having fun with it. That's just kind of the creative process. Sometimes things work out, sometimes they just don't, and you kind of have to scrap it and move on. I did take a couple of days off of this project, and so I am feeling rejuvenated and excited again about it. So I think I'm gonna just pull all of this yarn out again, cover the yarn dungeon in Honey Bunny, and design some spooky Halloween scones. So yeah, this is gonna be an entire summer project for me. Many things are going to be added to this. Also, help me think of names. Like this one, obviously, this baby tiny one, it has a name. It's exactly what it is. But these two, they're kind of up for grabs. This one for sure, I don't even know what's in here. So help me out with this one. And I know I said this was an almond milk latte, but if we feel like it looks like something else, or you want to see a different variation of this, maybe different colors, add a sleeve to it with maybe a pumpkin or a spider, I'm totally game to make more of these. So for right now, that is it. I'm gonna let you ghouls go, but thank you for coming back and checking up on me and this project. I hope that you love the project and the direction that it's going, because you're gonna see a lot more of this. Eventually, the yarn dungeon is just gonna be covered in coffee stuffies. Eventually, every spot is gonna have a coffee cup in it. But for now, have a fantastically spooky rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video.